Today will be part 1 in the series Scriptures Often Forgotten. And today we're going to be starting a new series. I know I told you all that we would be starting a new series if we were led to do so. And as you all pretty much know, Scriptures Often Ignored ended with 120 parts and mostly had to do with helping you in your spiritual walk and journey when it comes to learning and understanding more about the Word and learning and understanding about scriptures that are often commonly ignored. Well, now we're going to be focusing more on forgotten scriptures and verses, but this time we're going to be focusing more on the Yahudyth language and also dissecting that more and really going more into that so you can get a better understanding of the Yahudyth language and also how certain words work and how they don't work and etc. So because this is a truth network, we use the restored name of Yahuwah the Father, Yahusha the Son, read from right to left in the Paleo Hebrew Yahudyth tongue. We also use the Ruach HaKadosh, commonly known as the made-apart spirit, and YAHUAH as the restored title. Now, I also pray that with this series, we also learn more Yahudyth words, like everyday words, such as the word for tree, or such as the word for, chicken, like words like that, that will help us get a better understanding of our language. Now, again, if I'm led to share more on that, I will. This series more than likely will be uploaded sporadically, at least to be start off with. So do not expect uploads every single week. However, what I can tell you though, is that it is a new series and I'm excited to start it with you. And we're going to be starting it off with women prophets, or commonly known as women prophets in the scripture. And I also pray that this video also exposes the lies and exposes the liars, because if we've grown up in Christianity, or if we grew up in Christianity, well, then there was that common verse quoted that women need to be silent in the churches. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are how many women in scripture that YAHUAH spoke to and that YAHUAH used for his esteem that you're going to see right now. So again, the words quoted from Paul is a lie. And we've already done a video exposing Paul and exposing the words of Paul, and prayerfully we'll be able to re-upload that video onto this channel. But meanwhile, here we are in Shamuth, Exodus chapter 15, verses 20 through 21, because it says here Miriam, or Miriam, the sister of Aharon, or Aaron. It says here, and Miriam the prophetess, sister of Aharon, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, sing to YAHUAH, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Now, also, for those of you who might be wondering why the restored name might look different than it did in the Scriptures Often Ignored, the reason for that is because I'm using a different keyboard. Let me repeat that. The reason is because I'm using a different keyboard. The other so-called Phoenician keyboard that I used for the Scriptures Often Ignored videos, that website no longer exists. So then I had to find another keyboard for so-called Phoenician, because that's how they label our language. That's how our enemies label our language today. They call it Phoenician when it's actually Paleo Hebrew, or Yahudyth to be more correct. And also the wording in the font might look different too. Why? Because I'm using a completely different laptop, because my laptop is still busted. And because of that, I'm on a different note, and therefore I'm using a different font, just so that you know. And that's why it looks different than the Scriptures Often Ignored. But here we are in Bamadabar, Numbers chapter 12, verses 1 through 2, where it says, now Miriam and Aharon spoke against Musha because of the Cushite woman whom he had taken, for he had taken a Cushite woman. And they said, has YAHUAH spoken only through Musha? Has he not also spoken through us? And YAHUAH heard it. So this gives more context as to why Miriam was so angry with Musha, because again, you have to understand, she was considered a prophetess. Now, what is a prophetess according to the ancient Yahudyth understanding? We're going to go over that, but that is a speaker of YAHUAH. That means YAHUAH speaks to that person directly. So according to scripture and according to Exodus, YAHUAH had also spoken to Miriam as well, and to Aharon. However, we also see that YAHUAH spoke to Musha, Moses, as well, but that probably explains why Miriam was so angry at Musha in the context of this chapter. So prayerfully you understand that, and also understanding about what the role of a prophet is and the role of a prophetess. And we're going to be going over that more in a moment to come. And again, we're looking specifically at women prophets of the scriptures. And so now the second woman that we're going to be looking at is Daburah, also commonly known as Deborah, who was also a judge of Yasharal. You can find more of her story in context in Shaputayim, or the book of Judges, chapters 4 and chapter 5. However, today we're just going to be looking at the first 10 verses of Shaputayim, or Judges chapter 4. Now, again, you can read the rest on your own, but for context, this is just what we're going to be focusing on specifically. It says, "And when Ehud was dead, the children of Yasharal again did evil in the eyes of YAHUAH. Therefore YAHUAH sold them into the hand of Yabayan, the sovereign of Canaan, who reigned in Katsur. And the commander of his army was Sayasara, who was dwelling in Karshatha Haguyim. And the children of Yasharal cried out to YAHUAH because he had 900 chariots of iron, and for 20 years he harshly oppressed the children of Yasharal. And Daburah, a prophetess, the wife of Yahudyth, was ruling Yasharal at that time. And she was dwelling under the palm tree of Daburah between Ramah and Bayathal in the mountains of Aparim." Now again, is that in today's fake phony Israel, or is it in the real land of Yasharal in so-called Southern Africa today? That's for you to decide, because now we're here in continuing on in verse 5. "And the children of Yasharal came up to her for right ruling." So we see not only when it comes to the role of a prophet or a prophetess that what they are to speak the word of YAHUAH, we see that what, and during times of tribulation and trials, that what happens, the children of Yasharal come to them for advice or for counsel from YAHUAH. And we're going to see that with who? Khuldah, coming up real soon. But here we are in verse 6 that says, "And she sent and called for Barak, son of Abyanam, from Kadesh in Naphtali, commonly known today as Naphtali, and said to him, Has not YAHUAH Aluah of Yasharal commanded, Go, and you shall draw towards Mount Tabor, and shall take with you 10,000 men of the sons of Naphtali and of the sons of Zabulun? And I shall draw unto you Sayasara, the commander of Yabayan's army, with his chariots and his company at the river Kayashun, and shall give him into your hand." And Barak said to her, "If you go with me, then I shall go. But if you do not go with me, I do not go." And she said, "I shall certainly go with you. Only there shall be no esteem for you in the journey you are taking, for YAHUAH is going to sell Sayasara into the hand of a woman." So Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak called Zabulun and Naphtali to Kadesh. And he went up 10,000 men under his command, and Deborah went up with him. Now, next we're going to be reading about Khuldah, and again, this is whom scripture considers to be women or female prophets. Now, here we are in 2 Kings chapter 22, verses 14 through 20, where it says, "Then Kalkaya the Khan, or what commonly known as priest, and Akyakam, and Akbor, and Shapan, and Ashaya went to Khuldah the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, son of Thakuah, son of Karkas, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she was dwelling in Jerusalem in the second quarter, and they spoke with her." So again, they came to her. Why is this the case? Because she is a prophetess. So what is her role? They came to her in times of need. So when they came to her, she did what? She decided to do what? Give them the word of YAHUAH that was spoken to her. Because then verse 15 says, "And she said to them, Thus said YAHUAH Aluah of Yasharal, say to the man who sent you to me, Thus said YAHUAH, see, I am bringing evil on this place and on its inhabitants, all the words of the book that the sovereign of Yahudah has read, because they have forsaken me and burned incense to other mighty ones to provoke me with all the works of their hands. And so my wrath shall be kindled against this place and not be quenched. And to the sovereign of Yahudah, who sent you to inquire of YAHUAH, say this to him, Thus said YAHUAH Aluah of Yasharal, as for the words which you have heard, because your heart was tender, and you humbled yourself before YAHUAH when you heard what I spoke against this place and against its inhabitants, that they would become a ruin and a curse, and did tore your garments and wept before me, I also have heard, declares YAHUAH. Therefore, see, I'm gathering you to your fathers, and you shall be gathered to your grave in Shalom, so that your eyes do not see all the evil I am bringing on this place. And they brought word to the sovereign. Now that is precepted here in 2 Chronicles chapter 34 verses 22 through 28. Now I'm not going to read it again because it's pretty much the same thing we just read with a few words that might be a little bit different in this passage. Again, you can read this on your own time, but the reason I put it here is just so that you can see in context how it looks. Now again, you can read this on your own time, but we're going to keep moving forward all the way to also this one, Yahudyth, because there was also a false prophetess that was also mentioned as well in NakhamaYAHU, or the book of Nehemiah chapter 6 verses 14, where it says, My Alua, remember Tobiah and Sanballat according to these works of theirs, and the prophetess Yahudyth, and the rest of the prophets who would have made me afraid. And again, you could read the chapter to its entirety for more context on that. But there's also this prophetess right here, as you can see, Kana. Now, again, some translations might read Anna, some might read Hannah. It just depends on the translation that you're reading from or the book that you're reading from. However, we use the ancient restored one, which is Kana. That word also means favor, by the way, because we're here in our YAHUAH, Luke chapter 2, verses 36 through 38, where it reads, And there was Kana, a prophetess, a daughter of Panuel of the tribe of Ashar. She was advanced in years and had dwelled with the husband 7 years from her maidenhood. And she was a widow of about 84 years who did not leave the made apart place, but served Yahuwah with fastings and prayers night and day. And she, coming in at that moment, gave thanks to Yahuwah and spoke of him to all who were waiting for redemption in Yerushalayim. And the last place that we see it is here in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 8, 1 through 4. Now, this person actually does not have a name attributed to them. Now, again, based on context of this passage, you can attribute it to a wife of Yeshayahu. However, again, that will have to be in context of the passage, because here we are in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 8, 1 through 4, where it says, And Yahuwah said to me, Take a large tablet and write on it with the man's pen concerning Mahar Shalal Kashbaz. And let me take reliable witnesses to record a Yahudyth the Khan and Zachariah, son of Yabarakyahu. And I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. So because he went to the prophetess, she conceived and bore him a son. And Yahuwah said to me, Call his name Mahar Shalal Kashbaz. So that implies that this is who? The wife of Yeshayahu. For before the child knows to cry my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus or Damascus and the spoil of Shamarun is taken away before the sovereign of Ashur, or what they call Assyria. And we've already done a video on this network also proving where the real Assyria is, and that it's not in the Middle East. It's not where they want you to think it is. And prayerfully, that video and all of those videos from the True Locations playlist will also be able to be uploaded onto this network eventually as well, Yahuwah willing. Now, do bear with me for this next part, because we're going to be explaining the pictograph of it so you can get a better understanding of the Yahudyth Paleo-Hebrew language and the words prophet versus prophetess, as well as vocab too. Because here we reference a few places. We reference Strong's H5030, that means male prophet. It has 316 occurrences in scripture. Nabiah. Nabiah is the word, as you can see right here. Nabiah. And again, it's read from right to left. So we go right here, the noon, the bath, the yod, and the all, Nabiah. And prayerfully, we'll be able to once again re-upload the Hebrew 101 series in case you don't already know, or if you need a refresher on it. That way you'll be able to see and get an understanding of each letter and what each letter means, and the pictographic of each letter and the pronunciation. And then the next one is Strong's H5031, and that means female prophet, and that's the focus for today actually with this video. That has 6 occurrences, and it's Nabiah. Nabiah. As you can see, the only difference between the two of these is the ah right here. They have the same four letters, the first four letters, but it's the ah at the end that is the difference. It can also mean spokesperson or speaker. And then there's also Strong's H5029 that also means male prophet, that also has two more occurrences. Now, if you want to learn more about the word itself, prophesy or to prophesy, you can reference right here at Strong's H5012, Strong's H5013. That means prophesy, and that has 117 occurrences, nabah right here, this word right here, nabah. Nabah, three letters, as you can see right there, the noon, the bath, and the all. And then there's also this one in Strong's 5016 and 5017, four occurrences total. That means to prophesy, so it's a verb, nabua'ah. Nabua'ah, it has the u, and then it has the ah at the end right there. So when we put it all together, this is what we get. So we see the pictograph. So when we put the word prophesy right here, nabah, or the first three letters, this is what we get. We have the noon right here. As you can see, that means seed, or kaya, life. We have bath, that means house, or in, or inside. Then we have the first letter of the alphabet, which is all. That means strength, or ox head. So when you put that together, you get what? Strength, seed, house. And that can also mean strong seed, house. Strong seed, house. And that's just interesting because, again, prophets, and when they would prophesy, it would have to be what? A strong seed and house. That means what? Strong kaya, or strong life. That means what? A seed planted by YAHUAH. The house built by YAHUAH. And all throughout scripture, we see that the house being built by YAHUAH. And Yahusha talks about that too, doesn't he? When he talks about what? The house being built on the rock. And then we have this next word right here, nabua'ah. Nabua'ah, that means to prophesy, the verb. So we see right here, there are five letters now. So we have the noon, which, and of course that means seed, kaya, life. Bath, that means house or inn. U, nail, tent peg. Now again, the Jewish are going to refer to this letter as Vav, and that's how they're going to pronounce it. However, we've already talked about why it's pronounced U like pool, or U like room, and that is how we pronounce it in the restored pronunciation. And then there's all, that means strength, ox head, and ah. And of course, they're going to pronounce it as hey, the Jewish, but we pronounce it as ah, that means behold or window. So the five letters that you get from it, from the pictographic, is strength, seed, house, nail, behold. Now it's interesting because when you put that together to prophesy, it can mean pictographically, behold, strong seed, nail, house. Behold, strong seed, nail, house. And then I also wanted to do the pictographic for male prophet and female prophet as well, because you have Nabiyah, and of course that's male prophet, Nabiyah, the four letters right here from right to left. You have the noon, the bath, the yod, and the all. Now when you have the noon right here, that's seed, kaya, life, bath is house, in, yod, that means hand or arm. That's the first letter in our Creator's name, by the way. And then you have all, that means strength, ox head right there. So when you put these four letters together, you get seed, house, hand, strength. And if you put it together right here, it's strong hand, house, seed. Strong hand, house, seed. Again, pictographically, this is showing you how YAHUAH is laying the foundation, how YAHUAH lays the foundation through a prophet. And you even see this pictographically, because who is the strong hand? That is obviously YAHUAH himself. And again, the house being built on the rock, that is Yahusha. And of course, the seed being the seed of YAHUAH. So again, you see how this all ties back to what? Being what? That foundation of YAHUAH. and how he lays the foundation for us all in order to establish a prophet or a prophetess. That YAHUAH has to be the one to establish that. And then we have here NakhamaYAHU, female prophet right there. You have the 5 letters. Again, we've already went over the first 4, and then the last one, behold, or window. So when you put that together, you have behold, seed, house, hand, or strength. Behold, strong hand, house, seed. Behold, strong hand, house, seed. So again, this is the pictographic for these words. Prayerfully, this gives you a better understanding of the word prophet for a female and prophet for a male. Because again, in this English, they're just going to tell you, oh, prophet and prophetess. But again, they're not going to break down the actual Yahudyth or so-called Hebraic understanding. So prayerfully, this gives you a better breakdown and a better understanding. Prayerfully, this helps you out on your spiritual walk and journey as you continue to seek YAHUAH and his true son, Yahusha. And again, prayerfully, what this is helping you do throughout this series and throughout these videos is that it's helping you get a better relationship with our Creator so that you are able to seek the word on your own, so that you're able to go to these concordances yourself, and so that you can have a relationship with YAHUAH.